And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Title Time, Week 6 edition. I'm your host, Jason. And this is take 2 because I hit go live and it was an error. We got to watch the video once and I started the show and then Dave reminded me, no, we're not live. So take 2, everybody, on Week 6. I'm your host, Jason. With me, as always, 3 people that need no introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's my show and I can do what I want. I'm going to say first, the man to my left or your right, my brother from another mother, a man who came and cleared a fence that fell down for me while I had to go to work after the storm. Somebody I desperately appreciate all that he does to help my family, Mr. George Reed. How you doing, George?
Oh, fantastic. Listen, I'm glad we had 2 takes. It gave me enough time to finish washing down my French toast and peanut butter. Got the peanut butter out of the back of my throat so I can actually talk and not choke during the show. So doing all right this morning. Doing absolutely all right.
Well, it's, he didn't mention anything. I do want to say George and I got very lucky on the coast we're on with Hurricane Milton. We were on the backside of the storm. Neither one of us lost power. I lost some fence, like I mentioned. George, I know, lost some fence. We got very, very lucky. There's some people on the other side of Florida, in the middle of Florida, that weren't so lucky. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And if you see reputable donation places, if you're able to donate time or energy to help the people that lost everything due to Milton, please go out and do so because it's crushing. Look, I lost a chunk of my fence and the quote was $3,400 to fix it. Imagine a whole house or flooding or and that's just like a small piece. So do what you can to help the people that need it because it's tough for people right now. So just keep people in their thoughts and prayers. Now I do want to move on to somebody who bought a new vehicle coming off a hail damage issue he had. It's a white Ford Bronco. So we got OJ Simpson in the house. Frito Bandito.
And he's a Raider fan. OJ played for the Raiders. It lines up. It checks out. The story checks out, Jason.
What an entrance.
How you doing?
What's up, Juice?
So, from one disaster you guys are going through to a little minor disaster we had with the freak hailstorm we had. So, been dealing with the insurance company. Actually, on my house, they totaled out the roof, fence, and everything. I didn't realize how expensive it is to replace all that stuff, man. So now I got to deal with all the stuff, borlo that goes with that. So in Spanish, borlo means trash. So, hey, I've been busy the last 2 weeks with work and everything. Also dealing with hail. I wasn't able to join you guys last weekend. I did go back and watch some great calls from you guys and stuff like that, like always. So let's move on to the new week. I know there's a game right now. I have no idea what's going on.
All right, and somebody who's monitoring the game for the team here, it's Dave. Now I don't see the babies this week.
They will make an appearance, just not yet.
But the fantasy genius down right here below me, I'm waiting to see them babies to make the Sunday even more special. How you doing this morning, Dave?
Pretty good. We had a pumpkin festival this weekend, I hear, that they have for the last, I don't know. I thought it was much longer, but apparently it's only been 11 years. I've been in town for about 9 now, and we've gone every year with the kids. And, sad that Justin isn't here with us today. I think it's because we're facing off in Frank, and he's just a little intimidated by my 3-game winning streak.
Yeah, he does run scared when he's going to lose in the league he created. So I understand.
I noticed he didn't put me in that league. He'd be afraid that he'd be my only win.
Let's see. So we've got Dustin saying, "Good morning, gentlemen. Very happy to see you're safe and sound. Please know, I've been thinking of you and all of our community. Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate that. Yep. And that's the other thing. Like it definitely affects. Last year we saw some effects from a hurricane from some of our fellow fantasy football contributors, and I've seen some this week too, for the guys that I follow that are over in Tampa. So it's hard to see those pictures coming out of that side of the state. Just full devastation. So let's see. Bobby Ham says, "Happy Sunday, family." Bobby, it's good to see you. I don't know if we'll ever switch you over to bacon over ham, but until then, you're Bobby Ham to me. So we're gonna get into some of these questions, but the first thing I want to do that I do every week, I want to get into is asking the guys here what games they're most looking forward to this week. George, why don't I start with you? And you can't talk about the Dolphins because they're on bye, which I know you're looking forward to.
Listen, I mean, it's the first time I can say with confidence we're not going to lose this week. The game that I'm looking for, I got to look at the schedule. I didn't even have it pulled up. I am running a little behind this one. Okay, I don't think this is a game anybody's going to pick, except for maybe Deanna and maybe Joe, and that's going to be actually the Giants and the Bengals. Like the Giants, they're not a bad team. They're obviously they're not the Washington Commanders who are phenomenal right now and just kicking butt within their division. But I think that's going to be a surprisingly good game. I want to see if Joe Burrow can continue his streak of big fantasy games. I want to see if Jamar Chase can extend his number one overall fantasy wide receiver fantasy points. The Giants front is a very good front, but their secondary is not that great at all. So that's a game. There's some storylines, some intrigue there. I'm actually looking forward to.
Yeah, Burrow has played absolutely better than his 1-4 record would dictate. All right, I'm gonna go down to Frito Bandito, and I know you probably would say the Las Vegas team there, but you can't. So who are you looking forward to watching this week?
Yeah, so I'm glad I get the second pick because there's very slim pickings. I'm going to be going back and forth with Mr. Genius over here next to me in the chat this morning and stuff like that, probably with the game that we had. But I'm not going to talk about that game right now. The game I'm excited to watch is the Commanders and the Ravens. Two solid teams and stuff like that. Ravens obviously coming out to a slow start. They got, I would like to believe they got about 80% of what people thought Henry was going to be doing when he got there this year and stuff like that. I know some people probably didn't think he was going to be where he is at right now, but you have to expect that with a big man like that and then putting into an offense that the way they run like that. So that game's going to be excited. Jaden Daniels with Commanders. Brian Robinson is out today and everything. He's been an outstanding running back for the Commanders and stuff, but you got Mr. Eckler over there. That's going to be a big part of that game today. So excited to see that game.
All right. Yeah, I mean, that offense for the Commanders has been on fire. Not something I think any of us really expected. We all had high hopes for Jaden Daniels with his rushing ability, but he's completing a crap ton of passes. His percentage is high there, too. That offense is scoring at a clip we haven't seen in a while at the NFL level. So it'll be interesting to see him against a good Ravens defense. Go ahead, Rich.
Plus McLaurin, Mr. George guy over here and stuff like that, but on all year, man, he is taking off like no other right now, right?
Yep. It looks great.
Finally playing with the guy who can get him the ball down the field. It's always what stinks for us in fantasy is it took till his 29th birthday to get a quarterback that could do it. A lot of wasted years a lot of wasted talented years for McLaurin. So, David, what game are you looking forward to this week?
Man, it's actually real sad because I'm not going to be able to watch any of it because the Steelers are going to be beating the Raiders and I'm going to be tuned into that. But it's going to be
I love the trash talk.
The Lions and the Cowboys, man. It's a game between two teams coming in who were, contenders for their divisions, both still very much alive. Cowboys trying to get it together. The Lions going on the road to Dallas. I would like to give a special shout out to watching Drake May and seeing if he can live through the day today. But I'd like to see what he can do.
Yeah, I was looking over the schedule here. I'm partially interested in the Browns Eagles. Like we picked out that there has been very few great games on any of the slates. The last several weeks, it's been a good team against a bad team most of the time. You've got that again this week. I'm partially interested because of Drake May. That one I'm interested in watching, but Eagles Browns to me because I want to see if they bench Watson and they throw in Jameis because I want to watch a Jameis led Browns team. Like I really want to see it. And as bad as Watson's been playing, I think you'll see it sooner rather than later. Watson will get injured, and then we'll see Winston on the field. I want to see if that happens against the Eagles today. The other note here is Bills versus Jets.
Go Jets! I can't believe I'm saying that. Go Jets!
Bills are a bit banged up, and the Jets haven't lived up to the promise. They let their head coach go. I haven't seen it. Who's their interim head coach? And I see a touchdown.
It's their defensive coordinator, Jeff Albridge, who, by the way, very bright guy, very smart guy, very, very good. He was one of the coaches at the Senior Bowl. I think he coached the head coach for the Senior Bowl. I think he was the national team this past year. I think he was their head coach. But yeah, real bright guy. I don't know if they'll ever make him the actual head coach, but that's who it is.
It looks like Cole Kmet caught a touchdown. David, is that what we're seeing here?
Yeah, Caleb Williams faked to the running back, then to the flat, and he was wide open right across the middle, and then ran through the two safeties that tried to stop him.
All right, so Crana is going to be happy when we answer his questions here in a minute. So we're going to get into those, but touchdown Chicago early. Let's see. So we'll get into the first question here. Morning, boys. Come on, Bears. Have Keenan Allen in my flex in one leagues I'm in. It was either him, him, Bateman, or Alec Pierce in a deep league PPR. I hope I made the right call. So far, not so good, but it's too late for us to answer any kind of questions there because Keenan, even though he hasn't gotten a reception yet, is already playing. So no adjustments there. Flex 1 PPR Guillotine League. I'm going to start with George here. Tyrone Tracy, Justice Hill, Bateman, Dortch, or Ertz? I'm assuming to roll with Tracy.
Yeah, that's who I would roll with is Tyrone Tracy for me.
And Dave's nodding his head, and Rich looks like he's asleep.
Yeah, I apologize. Work just texted me. I'm trying to follow up real quick. So if you could just get me on this one, I'll give you guys the 3-vote pick real quick.
Okay. Well, it was it would be 2-1 anyway, so we're gonna say Tracy on that one. Crana saying Laporta or Kraft. I'm gonna jump to Dave. Dave's muted.
That's an interesting one because Kraft has definitely been more consistent so far this year. I don't even remember who they're playing today, the Packers.
The Packers are playing Arizona, and Sam Laporta is playing at Dallas.
Yeah, I still think I like Laporta.
All right,
yeah,
George.
I've literally got them back to back in my rankings. I've got Sam Laporta at tight end 5 here, Tucker Kraft at tight end 6. Laporta has the tougher matchup though. Dallas is ranked 5th against tight ends. Tucker Kraft is facing Arizona. They're 17th against tight ends. So I could and Tucker Kraft had a big game last week, so I completely understand wanting to having this decision. But if I'm going to stick true to my rankings, I would have to go with Sam Laporta.
Yeah, I've got Laporta 5th and Kraft 7th, so I would be with you guys. So 3-1 there. And then we have Olave or Tolbert in PPR. Now, Olave playing with Spencer Rattler, Tolbert getting the start. And before we answer that, I'm going to bring in a man who does need an introduction because he's just jumping on now. Mark, how's it going this morning?
What's up, fellas?
Morning, Mark.
So I'm going to jump to you first on Olave or Tolbert.
Olave or Tolbert? I'm going to go Olave. I don't think you can panic after last week.
Okay, so Olave with Spencer Rattler throwing him the ball. David?
I think I'm going to agree. A lot of times you see these again, quarterbacks come in and nobody knows what they're going to do. They have a flash in the pan game, a nice first game. And Olave's definitely got the talent. He's kind of been quiet this year, though, which has kind of worried me a little bit. But I think I'm going to go with Olave.
All right, and George?
I'll make it a clean sweep. Three for Olave. Olave, I've got 28th. Jalen Tolbert, I got 33rd. Both have really good matchups this week. Chris Olave's got Tampa Bay. They're 29th against the pass. And Tolbert has Detroit, who is 30th against the pass. So the defenses, their secondaries aren't really a factor for me. I just think you'll see a lot of short and intermediate stuff from Spencer Rattler, and that leads me to think that you'll see a lot of Olave and a lot of Kamara underneath. I don't see like a guy that I am sitting is Raheed Shaheed. Like I don't trust Spencer Rattler to be able to push the ball down the field as much as a Derek Carr would be.
One thing I am hoping
is that the Bucs win.
Well, for sure, but I'm trying to get a couple of injury updates. But Kalijah Cansey's going to make his debut. It looks like Antoine Winfield Jr. was on pace to play. I don't know if he's actually going to play today, but he was on pace to play for the first time since week 1. And I think Servassier Dennis, our coverage linebacker, was back. So our defense should be better this week than it has been the last few weeks. But yeah, I mean, look, if you have Olave, I guess you probably play him over Tolbert here.
Yeah. The reason Tolbert's in there is you'd be chasing points from last week.
Let's see. Okay. Flex 2 in a PPR. Downs, Javonte, Spears, Moss, or Antonio Gibson. George.
I'm going with Antonio Gibson for sure. No Ramondre Stevenson. He's out this week. Gibson's getting the start. Drake May is also getting the start. I'm not going to believe I don't believe Drake May is the key to unlocking that New England offense. Let's just put it that way. So I'm going to go with Gibson for sure. And then for my second one, I'm assuming that's Javonte Williams. I'm assuming it's the running back from Denver. So I'm going to go with Javonte and Gibson.
All right, Javonte and Gibson.
And Burrow has entered the chat.
This is Joe.
And good morning, Joe. How are you?
They look alike. Hi. It's hard to tell them apart from here.
Well, so with the baby there, I'm going to go to David next to make his 2 picks.
I'm going to go Gibson.
All right,
and
Gibson.
Downs.
And down. Okay, so Downs with Richardson coming back. That's not a worry to you because he was completing less than 50% of his passes, and man, he wasn't hitting guys like with. Yeah. Real quick, I want to break in and say I appreciate Crana here for the $2 donation because the Bears scored a touchdown. For your sake and our sake, I hope the Bears scored plenty more. And we can we could probably then at that point we could buy Rich some sleeves. Okay, so you went Gibson and Downs. I'm gonna get back to the question here, and I'm gonna go with Mark next.
So I'm going Gibson. I'm gonna go Downs as well, but it's more choosing not to go with the other guys than it is picking Downs.
Okay, and then Rich.
Yeah, I am concerned for Downs with Richardson coming back and everything. So, only because of that, because I'd rather have Flacco in there. I'm going to go Gibson and Javante. Now, Richardson can start the game, and obviously, and Downs ain't doing anything. And if Richardson ain't doing, they might bench him and pull Flacco, and all of a sudden he goes off and everything. You just don't know. So that's the scary thing about that. So I'm going Gibson and Javante.
See, my thing is Downs, even with Richardson, even though he was only completing 50% of his passes, et cetera, Downs was still getting the volume. Hi, buddy. Javante has had 2 good weeks in a row, but I don't expect that to continue this week against the Chargers defense. Tomlin, or not Tomlin, Harbaugh has that defense, running like, a solid unit. And I think that game's going to probably be the lowest scoring game of the day. Both defenses are great. Both offenses are kind of not great. So I don't expect a lot of points there, which is why I didn't go Javante. He has shown his potential the last 2 weeks, but I'm worried about him today.
I'm worried about him today, but I'm not as worried about him, and I have to break the tie here. So it's Gibson for sure. I do have to break the tie. I'm not as worried about him as I am about Downs. And part of the reason for that is it's not just that Anthony Richardson's been playing bad. He's also played very inaccurate, a lot of overthrows, a lot of throws a couple of feet over the head. But Downs isn't a big dude to start with. Like, I don't know that he's just putting it close to him. Is Joe agreeing with me there? I think he's agreeing with the height
he's
issue.
happy and he's smacking the table. So
I think he wants Javante Williams as well. Thank you, Eli. What did you? I guess
it's because of the dark room is what I'm assuming.
Hey,
so.
That's racial profiling, man. Just because I got tattoos on, come on, man, with the Mexican.
So our answer is going to end up being Gibson and Javante. And look, I hope Downs. I think Downs is a talented player, but I don't think that wide receiver fits what Indianapolis wants to do right now, which is start Richardson and have all their wide receivers suffer for it. So we're going to move on to the next one. Pollard, Monty, Dobbs, PPR. We're going to start with the guy in jail, Rich.
All right, so we're only picking one?
Looks like we're picking one, yeah.
Well, hell, I'm going Monty after coming out of their bye week and them giving him extension and everything. He's going to go out there and have a heyday today. So, Monty it is.
All right, Monty for Rich. Now, before everybody else answers, just to skew it maybe a little bit, remember Gus Edwards is now out for the day, and was he on IR? I think he might be out for a couple of games. So, Dobbins may have a lot of that backfield to himself, if that skews you any. But
Kimani Vidal, that's a name to remember.
Okay, but George, this pick here, Pollard, Monty, or Dobbins?
I got to see who the Texans are playing, or not Texans, the Titans, because they're playing the Colts. I'm 1,000% going with Tony Pollard.
All right, Tony
the man gets
Pollard.
no respect. He's a solid RB2, RB1 upside every single week.
Mark.
Pollard does have a great matchup, but the only thing I have in the back of my head is Derrick Henry running all over Dallas's defense for over 150 yards. So I'm going Montgomery.
Wait a second. Is David Montgomery all of a sudden Derrick Henry? Like, I feel like there's a huge gap in that skill set and ability and talent.
I mean,
and offensive line.
Detroit's rushing game is superb. So, I mean, I don't think comparing that to Henry is that far off.
Well, I also have to say, like, it hasn't just been Derrick Henry who's run all over Dallas this year. It's been just about everybody. David, who's Joe going with?
Joe is going with – Joe wants to go with Dobbins, but again, it's just a scary defensive slobber knocker of a match. I'm probably gonna tie it up and make you choose. I'm gonna go with Pollard.
All right, 2 for Pollard, 2 for Monty. Man, it's a. Oh, Roma Dunze just caught a 28-yard pass. It is a good problem to have.
It is.
I like Monty's touchdown upside. I think that's the reason why I'm gonna lead Monty. Pollard is a good play for sure, but I think Detroit's gonna score more points and give me the player on the team that is probably gonna actually be able to move the ball down the field. A Will Levis led team, even against the Colts, scares me. But you know what? It also breaks with my always go with Joe, because Joe looks super excited to be here this morning. Bobby says, I need 1 running back and 2 flex. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. We didn't finish that question. My bad, guys. My bad. Finally, Stroud, Fields, or Baker, 6-point passing touchdown. We're going to start with Rich.
Baker.
Baker's been, I think, is he QB2 or QB3 on the year?
Baker's bacon, so let's bake.
All right, that's Baker with for Rich. Joe, what do we got next? I mean David, sorry.
I think we're gonna go Baker as well.
All right, that's 2 for
Caleb
Baker.
Williams just threw an interception.
Did he? All right. Mark.
I'm going Baker as well. I'm worried about Stroud without Nico, and New England's defense has actually kept teams pretty low scoring. So
Fields is playing the Raiders.
What's that?
Fields is playing the Raiders.
I know. I was saying Stroud against the Patriots.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you did one and then you were going. Okay.
No, I was still talking about Stroud. I think Fields is going to lose his job sooner than later, so I'm not choosing him. So I'm going Baker.
All right, and then George.
Yeah, I'm going Baker as well. He's got the toughest matchup of the slate. New Orleans are 5th against opposing quarterbacks. Stroud is playing against the 10th best defense against quarterbacks in New England. And then Justin Fields with the best matchup. I do agree with Mark, though. This is the first time that they're going to actually have Russell Wilson active for the game. And what concerns me is if Fields goes out there and he's done okay for fantasy, but as far as actual NFL quarterbacking, he has not been very good at all. And I'm concerned that he goes out and struggles in the first half and they bench him for a returning Russell Wilson to see if Russell Wilson can give that spark to that Steelers team. So that's just the one concern I have with Fields is this is the first time they've actually had Russell Wilson active. So he's got Wilson just looking over his shoulder, and I don't know how long it'll be before they make a quarterback change. And I would hate to say start Justin Fields and then they pull him mid-game for Russell Wilson.
See, and that's the problem with the Steelers. Not just this year and not just Fields, but they've started slow. Last year was the same thing.
Yep.
We are a second half adjustment team. And if our defense keeps us in it in the first half, we're gravy in the second. Like, we're fine. We're going to score some points. We'll be all right. But if it's, we're down 2 scores or more. And do you agree? I don't even know. No.
You said gravy and the baby went, oh?
Well, it does have 2 teeth now. So
George said that Russell Wilson is looking over Justin Fields' shoulder. I mean, given the height difference, he's probably looking at his back.
This is true. This is true. He's on a step stool.
He's looking at his pads. You were going to say something, Mark? Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask David. I brought this up on Tuesday's show. I was watching that game last week, and the second half, it to me looked like Pickens quit in the second half. Like, he was not running any routes. He was pissed off. And, that tells me he has no confidence in his quarterback. So
when I told Dina, he's also I don't know what the deal is. Hi. I don't know what the deal is lately with the Steelers picking up diva wide receivers because we aren't that team. Like, we don't historically put up with drama. You know, you'll get benched for that kind of stuff in the Steelers organization. But lately, we've had a string of our top wide receiver is a diva. And that's been the Pickens is an incredible athlete. Totally a diva, though.
Why are we staring at George?
I have no idea.
Did somebody say diva?
Who hit a button?
Did somebody say diva and put George on the screen? Is that what we're doing now?
I don't know, but I want to say that the 49ers do have a history, or not 49ers, sorry, the Steelers have a history of having diva wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Long history. I really wish Roman Wilson was healthy. I really wish that kid was healthy.
I know, right? Roman Wilson shares.
It's usually when Steelers have a diva wide receiver, they're good. Pickens hasn't really been all that good, despite us really wanting him to be a thing. So hopefully he becomes good. I do want to mention that we've switched out Joe for Burrow. Burrow seems super happy.
As soon as you said that, the baby started laughing.
Burrow seems even happier to be here with that smile we got. Hi. Yeah.
Jason, don't make it creepy.
And no, I can't help it. I see baby. I want to talk to baby. All right. Bobby Ham says, need one running back and 2 flexes. So we've got to pick 3 of these. Mixon, Montgomery, Pollard. We can stop there. Garrett Wilson or Drake London, please and thank you. Are we going 3 running backs, guys? But man, Drake London and Garrett Wilson played so well last week. All right, I saw George shaking his head more than anybody else, so he goes first.
Yeah, no, well, I was answering your question. Are we starting 3 running backs? My answer to that is no. I'm starting Montgomery, I'm starting Pollard, and I'm starting Drake London.
Not worried that the Falcons are going to get out ahead of the Panthers and just run the ball.
If the Falcons get out ahead of the Panthers, I'm going to assume that Drake London had a hand in helping them get out ahead of the Panthers. That, and it's a division game. It's also a division game, and regardless of how good the teams are or how bad the teams are, these division games, they always play each other tough. They very, very rarely does it end out in a blowout. Excuse me.
All right, so you've got London, Montgomery, and Pollard. Mark, you're next.
I mean, George said pretty much everything I was going to say. That's exactly the route I'm going.
All right, Rich, David, you guys both agree?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'd probably change is Mixon if I knew how healthy it was. I don't want to play with that chance and everything. So yeah, I'm on board.
And then I saw you nodding over there before the baby stared into your eyes. You got you wrapped around her little finger, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately, Dina thinks that she's going to be spoiled.
Yeah, I know she's going to be spoiled. All right, let's see. Dustin, good morning, gentlemen. Very, very happy to. Oh, yeah, okay, we did that one. Let's see. I started Roshan over Jerome Ford. Was that a mistake? So far, it looks like yes. I mean, too late now, but yes.
Well, if he said looks like yes, then we'll just say yes, and we'll agree with him.
Well, I mean, look, Roshan's got 1 reception for 28 yards, so that's 3 points. 2 rushes for 4 yards. So yeah, 3 points so far. Doesn't look great. And this may be the last week with the news that Nick Chubb's going to be making his return next week. I think this may be the last week that Jerome Ford's relevant. We will see.
I know that makes me cry too.
You don't have any Nick Chubb? Why not?
I do. I have him in Scott Fishbowl, but that's about it.
I was talking to the baby. Krana says, should I stash Bedell, Ray Davis, or Emmanuel Wilson in a deep league PPR? Mark, who are you stashing?
I'm stashing Emmanuel Wilson. I think he has the biggest upside if someone were to get hurt. I think he jumps right in for Jacobs if that were to happen.
Burrow, you can answer next.
We're going Ray Davis. We think that he's already been utilized, to spell Cook, and they're using James Cook a ton. He has the best chance or the highest chance of getting overused and hurt, which would put agreed.
Honestly, I think the baby said it better.
Yeah.
I'll just jump in, seeing I'm running my suck. I'm going to go with Ray Davis here as well for the reasons David mentioned.
You're not even mentioning that James Cook ran out on a $680 bill and is being questioned by police. Go ahead, Rich.
Man, I would like to stash all three, please. Now, with that being said, I do like the Ray Davis. I know.
She's already arguing against you.
I agree with you. Don't argue. But I really like to see Vidal if he gets an opportunity today and stuff. He's someone that was spoken highly in preseason and stuff with what he's shown. Now, obviously, that's preseason, but man, if he gets some game time play today and everything, I'd really like to see what he could do.
Yeah, I like Vidal. The problem is that offense just doesn't look very good, so I think he has the least opportunity to score most weeks. So until they can turn it around, until Bo Nix actually, what is it you said last week about Bo Nix, George, or 2 weeks ago?
He sucks, and
Yeah, so,
Vidal's in the Chargers. He's with the Chargers. He's not with the
Chargers.
But that's okay. That's okay, because right now it's really hard to differentiate between Justin Fields and Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to go with the quarterbacks. So
you mean Justin Herbert?
Yes. See what I mean? It's hard to tell them apart. All three look alike.
It's been a long week.
You're probably thinking of Estime because he just came off the IR.
Yeah. I am thinking of Estime, and it's funny because I have those two running backs in like the same boat, like their potential stashes on bad offenses. All right, sorry about that, guys. We'll get it all figured out here in a minute. Dustin says a few questions: 14-team superflex, full PPR, running back, pick any two: Moss, Sermon, Madison. So full PPR running back, pick of any two of Moss, Sermon, and Madison. I'm going to start with Rich.
Man, I am going Madison. I'm going Madison with White being out. Connell's going to be starting QB and everything. So let's see what kind of mojo they get going and stuff, and we'll kind of go from there. They're going to lean heavy on the run game. I think O'Connell's going to surprise some people, but that is we'll wait and see on that one. If I had to pick the other two, just because of Richardson being in there too, I think I'm going to lean Sermon with him and being an upkick with Richardson being in there. He'll get some more touches.
All right. So we got Sermon and Madison. We're going to go with Mark next.
Well, yeah, I'm going Sermon, and I was going to ask Rich what he knew about White because I saw he did practice Friday, but if he's out, yeah, I'm going to go Madison as well.
Okay. George?
Yeah, it's Sermon and Madison. Moss coming off the injury. Sermon looked really good last week, filling in for Jonathan Taylor, who's out this week. Not that you would notice, but White has been ruled out for the Raiders. That's going to give Madison the full workload, and he's looked good in shared touches. Now that he's going to get the full workload, I expect both these guys to be running back twos. So I'll go with those two.
And then David.
I'm going to agree, although I don't know about Madison getting the full workload. I'm pretty sure Amir Abdullah did well last week for them.
He did.
But, I mean, I expect Madison to still get the majority of the touches.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, Chase Brown is just, starting to excel and pull away from Moss as a few of us have predicted before, once or twice.
It's week 6. I guess we'll see. I mean, it's only taken 5 weeks to maybe get there, and an injury to possibly be there. But sure, we'll let you victory lap at week 16 when it finally happens.
Hey, he looks better every single week.
Pick
Every single
two. Pick right, like by week 17, imagine he'll look like a running back 3. Wide receiver,
I mean-
pick 2. I mean, it's just, the trajectory is incredible. Pick 2, Dubs, Shaheed, Shakir, Pittman. I guess we're waiting to hear, because if Shakir's playing, I want to play him.
Well, you
But
can't
we're
really wait,
waiting.
though, right? Monday night.
Yeah, that's the trouble there. So maybe if you can pick up another player from that. All right, I'm just gonna go around the horn because I'm gonna give we're gonna have a tie if I go. So Mark, go first. You got 2.
I mean, I don't think it's much of a choice. I think unless something comes out before the games this afternoon, I think we got to go Shaheed and Pittman. As scary as that is, I just don't think you can wait for a 0 from Shakir. I'm
George?
not starting Dobbs after last week, after that whole drama.
So I want to go with Shakir, even though it's risky because, as mentioned, he played Monday night. I already said I don't want to play Shaheed because I don't believe that Spencer Rattler is going to be able to push the ball down the field. Shaheed has been very good for you this year. The problem is it's he gets that one big play a game. I'm not sure we're going to see that one big play with Spencer Rattler back there. And then the weird stuff with Pittman, he's dealing with injury, so they ruled him out, and then he said no, he's going to play. He participated in practice on Friday, but he's dealing with either a lumbar strain, a transverse process fracture, or a herniated disc in his back. It's something along those lines with his back. So that really, really scares me. I'm going to go Dubs and Shakir just because I am really concerned that if he falls wrong or gets hit wrong or something can go wrong with him much easier than in a normal game because he's already dealing with these injuries. I'm going to sit Pittman. I can't trust the injury that he's coming into the game with after all the concern that's been around his back leading up to this game.
Are you worried at all that they don't just leave Dobbs on the sideline after all that? Like, they suspended him a week, and now he's not suspended, but, like, is he really back a part of that offense?
It does concern me. I would say my internet just went out a second. It does concern me, to answer your question, Mark. It absolutely does, but it doesn't concern me nearly as much as the lack of big playability coming from the quarterback for Shaheed and the serious injuries that Pittman is fighting through. Add in the fact that Anthony Richardson is coming back to quarterback and it's not Flacco. Would it surprise me if Pitt went out, had a good game, injury-free? No. Do I want to trust him and put him in my lineup? No. I'll take the concerns with Dobbs that are not injury-related versus the concerns I have for Pittman that are.
The
couple
Pittman
things I want to throw out there.
Too. Like, they were even talking IR as a possibility.
Yep.
Couple things I want to throw out there based off the first 2, and then we got to get to what Rich and Dave think. Shaheed, I'm hearing, he has one long bomb. He's averaged 10 targets over the last 2 weeks. I'm not saying that I trust him with Spencer Rattler, but he hasn't just been a long target guy. Before that, he was getting 5, 4, 5, that kind of thing. It wasn't just the bombs. He is integrated in the offense and some underneath stuff, over the middle stuff too. We just all see and know the long bombs because that's what we care about.
Well, it's not that's what we care about, but that's where he's getting a majority of his production from as well.
All right, so Dave, arms up. What do we got?
Cole Kmet with his second touchdown.
All right.
Didn't we say start Cole Kmet all over the place this week?
We did. Absolutely.
Okay. Just make sure.
Yeah, I'm throwing that out there because why not? So the other thing I could mention here, if you were comfortable starting either Pittman or Shaheed, is you could potentially, with the Dobbs situation, you could drop Dobbs, pick up another piece that's starting on Monday night, whether it's Mike Williams or if Lazard's hanging out there, or Even Keon Coleman may be available in some leagues. Like grab one of those pieces.
In a 14-team league, they're probably not.
Probably not. But that just something you can do to temper so you can actually have a shot at starting Shakir. It's just a thought. But Dave, what do you think here?
Yeah, if you're worried about Shakir, then I'm going Dobbs and Shaheed, but I'm not as worried, so I'm going to go Dobbs and Shakir.
All right, Dobbs and Shakir, and then Rich.
Yeah, I was going to say, so on the Shakir, if you have the option to put him in the flex, and then if he's there available, pick up Knox. He might be a good flex if you want to wait and hold. And with Shakir, if he doesn't play, Knox should be a little bit more involved in the game. So, but hey, look, when it comes to injuries and stuff like that, I always try to avoid as much as possible and stuff. And I this one's a tough choice. So I'm gonna say Shaheed, just because of the fact that out of the four, he's probably gonna have the most opportunity. Now, it might not be the best opportunity, but he's probably gonna be on the field probably more than everybody else that's out here. So, I'm gonna go Dobbs because I just after what I heard from George with Pittman, man, I don't want no shares of him.
What are you laughing at over there, George?
This. So it's a Totals to Titles rule. If you don't have a beard, you cannot be on the show.
What we need to do is there's this. I think there's an app where you can like put half your face on one side and on the other, and it removes everybody's beard.
Dude, I did that, and yeah, it's you'll never see me without a beard if I have it my way.
I actually look like
got together. She asked me, can I see you without a beard? And I said, you don't want to. And she since then has agreed that if I ever shave it off again, we're breaking up at least until it grows back and I have to move out. So
there has been one time in 21 years that I haven't had some version of this, and it's because the guard popped off my electric razor when I went to trim, and I did one of those, and I went, oh, there's no coming back from that, so I had to shave it all off. Now, one time in 20-something
Well, with
years.
that being said, sure, everybody makes that one excuse because we all do it where, you know what, maybe I should try it without the beard. And then you took it off and you blame it that you popped the guard off.
No, my guard popped off because I know what this looks like underneath without it. All right, so sorry guys, where did we end up here? We got, I think Shakir was for sure, and then how many said Shaheed? That's 2. How many said Dubs? That's 2. All right, so I've got to break it.
Pittman.
Oh, wait. How many said Pittman?
I said Dubs too.
Oh, okay. So it's Dubs and Shakir is, I think, where we ended up. Dustin also says Superflex, Fields or Herbert.
Justin.
Yep, start Justin.
All right, smart guy. Yeah. Rich, you go first.
I'm going Herbert.
All right, Dave, you're not high on that game. Who you got?
I'm not high on that game, and I'm not high on Herbert. I'm going Fields.
Fields. Okay, Mark.
I think we've had this question almost every week, and I think I've chose Herbert every week. I might have been wrong every week too, but I'm going to stick with Herbert.
Okay, 2 for Herbert, 1 for Fields. George.
Yeah, I'm not tying it. As much as I am concerned about Russell Wilson coming in mid game to replace Justin Fields, I think I seen a crazy stat that Justin Herbert has not had a 10-point or higher fantasy game this year. I have to double check that, but I don't think he's scored over 10 fantasy points in a single game this year. So for those reasons, I've got to go with Justin Fields. I've got Herbert at 22. No, I'm going with Justin Fields.
Right, we've had 2 Herbert.
Okay. Then yes, I am tying it. Yeah, I got Fields at 18. I've got Justin Herbert at 22. Herbert is going against the second best defense against quarterback at Denver, which is surprising because Denver's defense has been absolutely fantastic this year. As much as I like the crap on their crappy quarterback, But Fields is going against Vegas. Vegas is 25th against quarterbacks, and I got Fields ranked higher.
Let's see. I've got Fields at 14.
Keep scrolling
Man,
for Herbert.
I gotta scroll a while before I get down to where I've got Herbert. So it's Fields for me to break the tie, and I just hope he runs a bit. Bobby Ham says Laporta or Kraft. Did we do this one already, or did we just talk about this beforehand?
I think that was on the screen when I first came in, Laporta and Kraft. But
all right. Well, go ahead, George.
Real quick, I wanted to clarify. He's had in 6-point per passing touchdown leagues. Fields has only had one game over 10 points.
You mean
everything?
Herbert?
Or Herbert, I mean. Yeah, he's had one game. That was at the Panthers, where he threw for
6 points.
In 6-point.
Wow.
Yeah, he threw for an amazing 134 yards and 2 touchdowns with 1 interception.
I have him in a dynasty league that's in 6 points, and he's had 12, 16, 11, and 13. I was going to say for 4, you're probably right. He hasn't had a single one over 10.
Okay. Yeah, for 4 point. 6 point, I know he's had at least one.
Yeah.
He's been outscored in my base, regular, all the regular settings that ESPN has. We have a league like that, and he's been outscored by Fields 91-41.
Yeah,
he hasn't had a good year for sure.
No, this is what we were afraid of coming in with Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman coming in as the offensive coordinator and the head coach. They want to run the ball. They're not going to throw that dang football.
Yeah.
We just got a sleeper notification that Pittman is active for today's game. So, half PPR,
where they care about player safety.
Half PPR, Laporta or Kraft, and I'm pretty sure we said Laporta here.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up being 3-2 or something like that. But so, who agrees with Laporta? We'll do that real quick. 1, 2, 3.
I want to check my rankings, so I have them back to back.
Yeah, I think
I've got Laporta 5, Kraft 6.
Okay. Yeah. So it was unanimous Laporta. Okay. In the flex, Devontae Smith, Jerome Ford, or whichever tight end. Okay, so you have the chance to start Kraft. Is anybody putting these guys over Devontae Smith? First game back. George?
I'm putting Kraft over him.
Okay, Kraft over Smith. But that's it, right? Everybody else, Smith?
Smith.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Jimmy F says, I drafted McCaffrey like many people did first overall. What a mistake. Well, yeah, when you saw him on Madden cover. Plus, to be fair, I drafted him too, so that's where we really went wrong. I'm thinking of finally letting him go. I don't know, man. Like, if you've held him this long, they're talking about him coming back in November, letting him go now. But Kyron Williams was offered to me. Should I take it? I think I'd take Kyron. I take a month of Kyron plus over what you're going to get from McCaffrey. Go get it.
Well, so
whether this is dynasty or not, I'm taking Kyron for that because we don't know when CMC's actually coming back.
Yeah, they're saying week 9, but even then, it's like I just don't know if I even want to try with it. If you have opportunity to get someone else that's playing now, especially Kyron Williams, jump on that ASAP.
What concerns me is not only so he's expected to come back after their bye week, and there's going to be a ramp up period to get him. Like they've got him running on hard surfaces right now with his foot, which is good. But there's also the chance of re-injuring the foot as well. Plus, there's going to be a ramp up period to where they get him going, getting back into game shape. Because there's a huge difference between game shape and just being in shape. And then you got to be worried about Jordan Mason. I don't know if they go back to giving him a full workload like he was receiving beforehand, knowing you need him for the playoffs. And you've got another back that's back there that filled in very, very well for him. So yeah, those do really concern me as a somebody who didn't draft Christian McCaffrey. I drafted Brees Hall, which is basically getting the same amount of points these days as McCaffrey. So I would do the trade in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I was in leagues like this where I drafted McCaffrey first. You're getting offered a top 5 running back for McCaffrey, which we've all said you don't know when he's coming back or what he's going to be able to do. The leagues I have McCaffrey, I'm getting offered like Mike Wilson and things along that line.
Well, that's just because it's you. Listen, I'll trade you Mike Wilson and 2 6-piece chicken nuggies. How's that?
I might do
it. Depends on where the nuggets are from, right, Mark?
Yeah, that's true.
This is true. And don't come to Mark with those McDonald's chicken nuggets. He'll throw them back in your face.
I actually do like McDonald's chicken nuggets.
Gosh damn it, Mark! You just let it ride, man. Just let it ride. I'm trying to get you quality here.
Who doesn't like McDonald's chicken? The chicken fries are the goats, though.
Yes, the chicken fries are awesome.
Chicken fries are good.
All
From
right.
Burger King? Or where?
Huh?
From where? Burger King?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the ones who invented them.
Yeah, true.
Jimmy F. Still alive in the $1 Million Survivor pool. I'm down to my last entry. I'm locked in with the Falcons this week. Oh, the thing about the Eagles is the safe pick. Any thoughts?
I'm on my last entry too. I have the Falcons locked in this week.
I'm okay with either of those picks. I will say I'm not sure there's anything called a safe pick this year, considering the upsets that have happened, specifically of the top, blowout of the week. The top ranked pick in Survivor has just been getting swept every week. So
screw Seattle against the Giants. Jesus Christ. What was that?
And San Fran, Arizona. Both of those games I was watching the ends, and those are my last 2 entries, and I'm like, all right, they're both, Seattle's coming back, they're about to win. San Fran's we're good to go. Both of them just had crazy stuff happen at the end, and I was like, what is going on here? I think it's destiny that all the top ones are just done this year.
Yeah, 70% of about 70% of the games, all the road teams are favored this week and everything, which is crazy. But if you truly want to survive and stuff like that, you have to go with the safe pick. Eagles are -8 as the home team, and the Falcons are -6 as a visiting team and everything. So, yeah, I get why they're paying the Carolinas. I get it and stuff, but to be safe, especially at this point when there's probably a whole bunch of people already eliminated, man, go with the safest pick you're going to get, man. I'd be picking the Eagles.
Well, technically, if you look at it based on how they do spreads, it's usually 3 points for home or road. So if the Falcons are 6 points, that actually means they're a 9-point favorite.
Yeah.
My only thing there is it is a division game. I tend to avoid division games. I tend to avoid the road teams.
Yeah,
I like home favorites the most. And the Browns have shown us 0 this season. The Eagles, they haven't been their normal selves, but they're getting all their weapons back this week. I think the Eagles is probably the best bet of the week.
I don't know who cares less about playing football right now, Deshaun Watson or George Pickens. It's a 2-horse race for who cares less about playing football. I absolutely agree with the division game things. I would not like to pick on those. Being a Dolphins fan, just too many times the Patriots during their Super Bowl runs would play Miami, and Miami would beat them, and Miami would just be a really, really bad team with only like 3 or 4 wins on the year. But almost guaranteed one of them was against the Patriots because the division games are just that unpredictable.
So it sounds like we're flipping over to the Eagles.
Yeah, I would go with the Eagles, especially coming off bye, getting AJ Brown back.
Devonta Smith's getting back,
Yeah.
Getting healthy. All right. Let's see. Dustin's jumping in saying, got to make that trade. Speaking of Dustin, I know he's a Patreon. We haven't talked about it yet today. Hey, look, a third child has entered What's this one's name?
Dina left the door open this much to the garage, and she was staring at me through the crack. This is Lacey.
Yeah, I had to kick my dogs out of here. They were pretty mad at me when I kicked them out. But, all right. So patreon.com/toiletstitles. We have a tier for every salary. We have the $1.99 tier, and then we have the tier where George will come take down your fence, haul it off to the trash, and help your family out. So we have a tier for everything. You for sure you get our free agent, our weekly free agent pickup sheet Monday night during the game versus on Tuesday like most people release it. We get you a jump, and that's important because there are leagues that run their waivers early, so getting that information as early as you can helps. So anything you need, plus we're super available all the time. Justin says it, but we are the group that is most active and available for questions and to answer any question you have. Dustin and Justin talk all the time. Dustin will tell you. So Toilets Titles or patreon.com/Toilets Titles for all your needs. While we're doing this, Dave, why don't you talk about your card breaks?
Yeah, I do card breaks.
There it is.
Go over to Genesis Card Breaks on Facebook. We do card breaks, anywhere between retail stuff, just little stuff that we find, or some of the hits. Like last week we got the 101 Puka Nakua auto. That was pretty nice.
I haven't got a message about yet. What's
going
on?
I've been super busy this week. We literally had appointments between Dina's mom and the babies every single day of the week this week. It's been hectic.
All right. Well, if you're watching David and you hit the Puka Nakua, come talk to me. We'll make a deal.
All right. So we sold some stuff.
And remember, if you do hit the Puka Nakua and you have to go talk to Mark, chicken tenders. No sauce. If you offer him sauce, he's not even going to reject the trade. He's just going to leave it there for you to wonder what's going on.
Uh-huh.
So I've got to say, hitting the Puka Nakua sounds like a dirty move out of context.
Or a wrestling move, one or the other.
I was going to say off the top rope.
You hit the Puka Nakua off the top.
Yeah, a Puka Nakua is off the top ropes for sure. Okay, we're getting back to these questions.
Oh, that's a fumble. That is 1,000% a fumble. What are you doing, Evan Ingram? Hold the ball. Secure the ball on the way to the ground. Use both hands.
Likely Mo or Gasecki at tight end. Rich has been over there quiet. Didn't even laugh at the Puka Nakua joke. I'm going to go with Rich first. I know it's hard to laugh in prison, so go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was replying to one that comes later on. We had a new subscriber as of yesterday, so it's just appreciating the man for this subscribe. I apologize. What was the question again? Likely, Mo, or Gasecki? I'm going likely. Yeah, likely.
All right. David, you following Likely's 2-touchdown game up with another start?
Yeah. I'm also drawing a blank on who Mo is.
Is it Mo Alley Cox?
Oh, then not him.
Is it Foster Moreau?
It could be Foster Moreau. But
I'm scrolling my tight end rankings. I am literally all the way down to Ben Sims of the Green Bay Packers, and I cannot find who Mo is other than either Mo Alley Cox or Foster Moreau.
Well, I wouldn't start either of those two, so I'm going to go likely as well.
All right. Mark.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna go likely, I guess. I don't know. Likely, yeah.
I like your confidence, George.
So, unless Mo is actually supposed to be Bo, as in Brock Bowers, because the B and the M are very close on the keypad here. They're separated by one letter. What do you mean they're not that close? There's one letter separating them. And if you're typing it on your phone and you got fat fingers, it's literally less than half a button away. So it possibly could be Brock Bowers. I doubt it, but that's the only other thing I got here. Okay, but yeah, it's going to be likely for me, unless that's Brock Bowers.
Yeah,
then it's Brock Bowers.
Yeah,
I've got him. We've got a question about him coming up later on, and I'll just say it right now: Brock Bowers is my number one tight end of the week.
There's literally 0% chance they accidentally typed B instead of. I would get.
There is more. No. There is way more than a zero.
I get if they type no or Joe or Co. But Bo is pretty far out there.
There is more than a 0% chance.
All right. 3%. You're right.
That's a better chance than Chase Brown being a thing this year. I will say that.
Ertz or Mark Andrews?
You're definitely starting me this week. Oh, come on.
I'm starting. Yeah, we're starting Mark for sure.
Yeah.
Ertz or Mark Andrews? I'm going to start with Mark here.
I'm starting myself. No, I'm starting Ertz.
All right, one for Ertz. Rich.
Yeah, I think I'm starting Ertz too.
All right, Ertz. David?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the tight end 1 for his team instead of the tight end 3 for his team, so I'm going to go with Ertz.
Well, that's harsh. And then George.
I have these guys back-to-back in my rankings, and I'm not proud to admit I have Zach Ertz ranked higher.
All right, so Ertz, it is by unanimous decision here. Brandon Williams, flex 2. I mean, listen, that makes Mark Andrews droppable, right?
The problem, he has a lot of name value, and unfortunately, that's why he's not droppable. Because you're always going to be afraid, okay, if I drop Mark Andrews, and then he turns into the Mark Andrews that we've seen consistently year over year, I'm going to look like an idiot.
Yeah, who are you going to drop him for anyways? I mean, look at the tight ends that are available and stuff like that. No point of dropping them and stuff.
Well, I mean, he's got Ertz. He's got Ertz. So, like, you drop him to pick up a running back or a wide receiver. You don't have to hold 2 tight ends, especially if you're at the level where you're flexing. That's my question. Like, you're dropping him.
But I mean,
this is the pure irony of fantasy football is you drop somebody that has proven to be a good, valuable asset, and then as soon as you do, they freaking go off for the rest of the year and stuff. It never fails.
Yeah. I think there's only about 4 or 5 tight ends that aren't considered droppable.
But is Andrews one of them?
Sure, Andrews is droppable. Ertz is droppable. They're all droppable.
All right, we're moving on. Wide receiver 2 flex PPR. So we need 2 of these. Amon-Ra, Diggs, and James Conner. I'm going to start with George. I haven't started with George in a while. Need 2 of these.
All right, so 1,000% we're starting Amon-Ra, right? I think that's a safe bet across the entire panel. So then it would probably come down to Diggs and James Conner. With no Nico Collins, Diggs is really, really enticing, especially knowing he had 2 touchdowns last week. His usage has been great. I want to see who Arizona is playing. They are playing the Packers. I think I'm still going to go with Conner over Diggs. Conner's going to get the full workload. He's going to have touchdown opportunity. They do use him in the passing game as well. I'm going to go with Amon-Ra and James Conner.
All right, David. I see Rich is agreeing. David's agreeing. Mark, anything different there?
No, I'm going to go Connors over Diggs as well, just because we talked about it earlier. New England's defense has been good at holding opposing quarterbacks points down, which means there's going to be less to go around. So I think Connors pretty consistent.
Amon Ra, James Conner, Brandon Williams. Let's add J.K. Dobbins into the mix. Does that change anything?
No.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, with how bad Mark Andrews has been this year, he's the tight end 30 as far as overall fantasy points on the season has scored. He's behind tight end studs Jawan Johnson, Johnny Munt, Eric Ali Jr., Elijah Higgins, Foster Moreau, some guy named Jordan Adkins who plays in Cleveland.
Like
there's
Eric Ali Jr. Do you mean Eric Hall?
Eric Hall. Yes, I'm sorry.
Eric Hall actually played in the town right next to us, the town where I go to get my cards from the card shop. He played there for high school.
Wow.
Yeah, he scored 1.2 points more on the season so far than Mark Andrews has. So to answer Jason's question, I want to say yes, Mark Andrews is droppable, but I'm not going to drop him.
Let him close. All right, David. Who scored the touchdown?
Keenan Allen touchdown.
Stick cat.
There we go. We told you start Keenan Allen. We told you start Keenan Allen, that it would be a safe bet. Crana, you're welcome. Thank you for listening to us.
Listen, I'm cool with you dropping Mark Andrews. Let him clog up somebody else's roster. Let him have that problem every week that you're having now. That like, I can't not start Mark Andrews because it's Mark Andrews, but he's the 30th tight end. As bad as tight ends have been, he's 30th.
Yeah, and Zach Ertz is currently the 17th tight end on the season with exactly 35 points on the season. So he's getting you that comfortable, safe 3 for 30, 4 for 25 type production week in, week out, which is, as sad as that is actually a lot better than what you're getting from Mark Andrews, who apparently is working on a half dozen donuts for the year. See if you put games together to get him a half dozen donuts.
Yeah, so going forward, I know we're in this season, but I'm already kind of looking into next season. Going forward, I'm going to look at tight ends, and instead of when I rank them, I'm just going to look at, okay, which tight end can get to 75 fantasy points for me for the season? And I'm going to go with the high end average and everything and go that route. So just throwing it out there.
All right, we've got another question here. Kraft or Goddard? I'd have to drop Goddard to get Kraft. So I guess season longs, who's better? So interesting thing here. I think Goddard before his bye was the tight end number 1. A lot of that was off the back of the one really huge game. I'm not sure if he's still tight end 1 after his bye week, but
Brock Bowers is.
We're getting AJ Brown's back, and then Devonta Smith is back. So does Goddard's usage diminish here with the other weapons? So I'm going to start with David on this one.
Yeah, see, that's my issue, I think, is Kraft has kind of been used safely all year.
Yep.
Whereas Goddard, it feels like with the weapons out, he's become the top guy, which obviously that's what's going to happen. But Goddard's also been somebody who's been consistent year in and year out. I think I'm probably still going to stick with Goddard here, but it's kind of close. I might look at the schedule to see who has the easier schedule moving forward, although that is probably going to be the Eagles as well with that division, the NFC North kind of looking tougher than people expected.
All right, so one for Goddard. Rich?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Goddard too because there's more probability of those players getting re-injured again and him having better games and everything. So I'm going Goddard.
That's 2 for Goddard. Mark?
I think it's pretty easy. I'm going Goddard. I think the Kraft hype is getting a little out of hand.
Is that because I picked him up the waiver wire and he helped me beat you last week in the staff league?
Probably. If you're not picking up players and starting them against my Rams, you don't know what you're doing.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I got lucky as hell last week. I will say that.
So what I'm going to say is, like, before the past 2 weeks. He had the very good game against Minnesota, and then he played the Rams. Before that, he had 3 targets max each game for the first 3 games of the season. He had 1 great game against Minnesota, who's a really good defense, and then 1 great game against a horrible defense. We give up yardage and points to everybody. So I don't think you can count on that consistently for the rest of the season. I knew that after they had that game against Minnesota, he was gonna have a game against the Rams, and it was gonna look like he's a tight end 1 going forward. But I don't think you can count on that.
In the landscape of tight ends, I think you can count on him being a tight end 1.
But I mean, the first 3 weeks, he had 37 yards, 16 yards, 24 yards. But I get what you're saying. You're probably right. When we're talking tight end 1, being top 12, yes, he's probably a tight end 1. But I think people are expecting him to be a top 3, top 5 tight end going forward the rest of the season, and I don't see that.
No, I don't see a top 3 or 4 tight end rest of the season either. The one thing I will say is, like, a lot of these guys who we've been relying on that start slow, especially with the tight ends, like, they didn't play very much or even at all in the preseason. So, like, the first 3 weeks really is considered, like, I look at that as like their preseason. Not saying that he's going to go out and do that week in, week out. Absolutely not. That's just what he did the last 2 weeks is not going to happen every week. It's not. But the one thing I hate is that the teams don't take preseason serious, and the teams that do take the preseason serious, like, they start the season really, really well, and the teams that don't, statistically and performance-wise, shows like they're ramping up for the season at the start of the season, and it reflects on the play in the field, play on the field. With all that to be said, though, I still think I'm going to go Goddard over Kraft season long, but it is close. It is very close with those 2.
Well,
I do enjoy.
If you look at it, Goddard's done the same thing as Kraft this year. He had 2 really slow games, and both of them, now that I looked at it, Goddard had his 2 games when Smith and A.J. Brown were hurt. Kraft did the same thing. Watson out, Dobbs out, and suddenly we have Kraft getting more targets. You get these wide receivers back. I think both of them are going to come back down to, still tight end 1s, but close to your tight end 2.
Well, what I do enjoy from Mark here is that Chase Brown is on an ascension over the last couple of weeks, but Kraft has only done it for a couple of weeks. It's not an ascension when it's a tight end we don't care about, but when it's our guy.
Chase Brown has outperformed Zach Moss with every opportunity he's been given. It's not his fault the coaches aren't giving him the ball more. And
no, it's his fault he can't pass block. That's what it is. It is 1,000.
Last game, you guys keep bringing that up. It was fine last week while he was in the game.
1,000% the fact the man cannot pass block.
I'd rather.
Anyway,
and when you got a quarterback back there who has a bad hand or shoulder or whatever it is, and has a history of injuries, and people don't want to acknowledge Joe Burrow. Coming into the season, has played less NFL football games than Tua Tagovailoa coming into the season, and they were drafted in the same draft class. That's just a fact. Joe Burrow is an injury-prone quarterback, and to put a running back there that cannot pass block for that franchise would be irresponsible. Talent-wise, yes, Chase Brown is more talented than Zach Moss. I will give that to you, but he's not going to be more of a productive fantasy player. And he's not going to get more of an opportunity because he can't pass block. If you can't pass block, you can't protect the franchise. If you can't protect the franchise, you're not going to get a whole workload. That's just not going to happen.
I didn't mean it pretty much the majority of that game. I think he was fine back there.
I didn't mean to start another argument. I just I thought, like I said, I just thought it was funny. We've got 2 players coming on, and
one's ascending and one's
ascending
lucky.
and one's a fluke. I saw David over there laughing too. I enjoyed that. Anyway, Kraft or McBride would have to drop McBride. I don't think any of us is going to
No.
say to do that. Don't do that
No.
for sure. Don't do that. My son's saying, "Wow, I'm late. Hi, good morning." And then we've got a Tolbert or Javonte Williams in half PPR. I'm going to start. It's been a while since Rich has jumped in here, so I'm going to start with Rich.
Yeah, let's ride that Tolbert train, man. Looks like he's heavily involved, especially after last week. So that's who I'm riding with.
All right, David.
I'm going the same. Not so much because of Tolbert. I like I said, I like Javonte and what he's kind of showing what he can be the last 2 weeks. I just don't like this matchup this week.
All right, Mark.
I only see one name there. I see Tolbert.
Tolbert or Javonte. Okay.
I only see Tolbert. It's never Javonte for me.
All right, and then George.
It's half PPR. I'm going Javonte Williams.
All right, that's 3-1. We've got Mooney, Jamo Williams, Shaheed in a half PPR. I'm gonna start with George.
Yeah, always JMO.
I got 2 nods down there. So I'm assuming Mark and Rick are going. Rich is going that way.
I'm going JMO.
I'm going JMO. I think Mooney's a little close for me, but I still like JMO.
David.
Mooney's really close for me. It's not just a little close. My only thing is, I mean, it is a division matchup for them, so it could be closer than expected, but I do expect the Falcons to pull away. I think Detroit's in for a slugfest with Dallas. So I think JMO is going to have some more opportunities to get in the end zone.
So I don't usually, especially when it's unanimous like this, I don't usually jump in. I'm 100% on Mooney here. We're all super high on Drake London. Like we've picked him earlier and when we had the question, whatever. Mooney has been better for that offense than London has even been. So anyway, I would take Mooney here, just because we've seen at least a down game for Jameson Williams. The only thing I say, the last time we saw Jameson Williams on the field, he was so much faster than everybody else on the field. He was able to start celebrating 30 yards before the end zone. That was insane. But yeah, I still like Mooney, and with the way they're passing and the way he's a PPR monster. So anyway, it is unanimous aside from me. Chris Videos, Sermon or Rico Dowdle in a half PPR. Let's go with we're going to start with David.
I think I'm going to go Rico Dowdle. I got to finally see him play a game against the Steelers last week, and he was more impressive than what I expected. I'm going to go with Rico.
Even against that third ranked against running backs Detroit defense.
Yeah, because he was also used quite a bit in the passing game, so I'm not as worried about that. George,
you when I said that, you looked up. What are you thinking?
I agreed that the third ranked defense against the run for Rico Dowdle. I'm going to go with Trey Sermon here at Tennessee. Tennessee's 13th against opposing running backs. Trey Sermon, the game he started, he got over 15 touches. I'm not sure Rico Dowdle is going to get that many touches, and I'm not sure he's going to be nearly as efficient against the third-ranked rush defense.
Looks like David put his hands up. That's a Gabe Davis touchdown, right?
Yes, it is. He actually held on to this one.
All right. So we've got one for Dowdle. We've got one for Sermon. Mark?
I mean, I think, was it a couple weeks ago? We all consider benching James Conner against Detroit's rushing defense. So if we're considering benching him against Detroit's defense, I'm definitely benching a Rico Dowdle against them. Yeah, it's Sermon for me.
All right, 2 for Sermon.
Sermon for me too.
All right. So that's 3-1, and we are taking Sermon. Jimmy says, one more question. I have Daniels and Mayfield as my quarterback. I'm thinking of playing Baker over Daniels. Single QB league. Afraid of Ravens defense will shut down Daniels. Baker goes against the Saints. Any of us starting Baker over Daniels this week?
Man, it's tough. I probably not, just because with New Orleans starting Rattler, it could be either a low-scoring game or a blowout where Baker doesn't need to throw that much.
I've got Daniels 4 spots higher than Baker Mayfield this week, even playing against Baltimore, but that's because Tampa's playing against New Orleans. New Orleans is playing well against quarterbacks, and Lattimore is healthy, seemingly healthy for the first time. We'll be covering Mike Evans, so it'll be interesting to see if Mike Evans can keep himself in check and actually stay on the field. George, put your finger up. Go ahead.
I was going to ask over or under 0.5 punches thrown between those two. Those two, when they talk about football rivalries are dead in the NFL, the rivalry between Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans is alive and well. Those two just do not like each other on the field. I don't know if they get along off the field, but on the field, it's always entertaining to watch those two match up. I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels against the Ravens. I got the Ravens here as the 26th ranked defense against opposing running quarterbacks. I did stutter and say running backs, but I mean, we are talking about Jaden Daniels, who has got a very safe floor between 5 to 6 rushing fantasy points a game. For me, it's Daniels as well as Baker's playing. Give me Jaden Daniels every single time.
Quick fantasy football note from Sleeper. Christian Watson is active today for the game against Cardinals. So
also, even more bigger breaking news than that. Joe Flacco is starting today, and Anthony Richardson is serving as the number 3 quarterback.
All right, so the Downs question from earlier, switch whatever we said to Downs.
Yep.
I said Downs.
Regardless. Well, that was a mistake on your part that just actually happened to work out.
Well,
that mistake was ascending, Jason.
I was with David. I said Downs as well.
Well, you both made a mistake, but now you've been bailed out by the football gods. Okay, so that answer switches to Downs and Antonio Gibson as the 2. All right, let's see. Good morning, beautiful people. I don't know which. That was probably back when the baby was on the screen. I got to imagine.
Was.
Yeah.
The Cap for Life. I want to say real quick. He joined Justin and I on Fridays. Saturday mornings TGIF. This guy is Fragile Show, and we talked about if he had any questions that we didn't get to then. Come join us here on Sunday, and we will have a whole panel of experts. So. Cap, appreciate you tuning in over here on Sunday as well.
Rich, can we say this out loud?
Yeah, he asked me. They're asking me what prison I escaped from. I replied back in the chat. So since then, I went and talked to my prison guard. They opened the windows for me and everything to get a little bit more light in here. So does it still look like I'm in prison?
It's the shirt.
A little bit.
It's the shirt.
So basically, I need to change the shirt so it doesn't look like I got tattoos on me. Then, is what you're saying?
I mean, listen. I worked in a jail for 8 years. Not everybody has tattoos in jail. I mean,
thank you, David. I appreciate it. There we go. Anybody else? Is that a butterfly?
Who, mine?
Yeah.
No.
The butterfly would have been so good, though.
That's what threw me off. From the side angle, it kind of looked like a butterfly. Like, wait a minute, hold on.
Somebody with Photoshop has to do that.
It's letters. Let's see. I get this.
Hoorah, Devil Dog! Hoorah!
It says USMC.
Hell yeah!
It's not a butterfly. Now my wife has a butterfly. She got a butterfly trans stamp. And she got a butterfly trans stamp on the center of her back, and the wings and everything else is in the colors and the shape of a flag, the U.S. flag.
I'm sure she appreciates you calling it a tramp stamp.
I mean, that's what it is.
Bobby says the baby for president. What do you got over there, David?
A
Ironically,
butterfly.
it's a tiger. And I
We
mean,
knew you. We always knew you were a Bengals fan. That's a Bengal.
It's
a
supposed to
Bengal.
be a white tiger, which is one of my favorite like wild animals. But I live in Cincinnati, so everybody assumes it's a Bengals tiger. I'm a Steelers fan, as you can see. Very little Bengals things back here. That's for Dina. I have allowed her to color it in orange before when she was sad that we were beating them so many times in a row. That was before the Burrow era, obviously.
Let's see. All right. Tattoo talk is over for the moment. We'll get to T-Man Yo, Moss Gibson, Jalen Tolbert. Oh, you know, I got to give Rich a chance to say what his tattoos are. My bad. Sorry, Rich. Showing them
This
off.
one is supposed to be a bird, just kind of hieroglyphics to a certain degree. Then I got this one over here. Then I got this one over here. Then I got my wife's name tattooed on the back of my neck with the queen over it. And then I got a tattoo of a rabbit on my butt.
Is there a story with that one?
Yeah. So usually when people
You ever see Rabbit's hump? That's why it's on his butt. I mean, that's what they do in prison.
The reason why I got it is that way it's kind of like a good icebreaker and stuff like that when at parties. So when I tell them that and everything, that they always want to look at it. So then I pull my pants down and I don't see anything. So I say, "Oh, it must have went back in the hole."
If we get banned from
go to very
YouTube, Justin,
different parties.
I just want to know you're going to lose money. It wasn't because of me.
Hey, y'all walked into that one.
So did the rabbit. Moss Gibson or Jalen Tolbert. Pick two. I'm gonna start with the. You're the rabbit man from now on.
Oh my goodness!
Go ahead, rabbit man.
Yeah, look, I'm actually.
Thumper. Can we call him Thumper? Anybody agree? Thumper.
Hey, add it to the AKAs of my list, and we'll be good to go. Okay.
All right, go ahead, Thumper.
I'm going Gibson. I want the running back in this situation with the opportunity he'll have. So,
Me
pick
too.
two. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Moss and Gibson.
Moss and Gibson, two running backs. David.
Gibson and Tolbert.
Gibson and Tolbert, and I'm gonna say Mark's probably gonna do that too because his Chase Brown love.
Gibson and Tolbert.
Yeah,
And
for me,
George-
it's Gibson and Moss.
Gibson and Moss. Okay, so that was that. I gotta break the tie. Ooh, I'm gonna say Gibson and Tolbert here. Break the tie. I'm not a fan of Moss coming off that injury, even though Brown's coming back from injury as well. All right. And then he subscribed as of yesterday, so thank you for subscribing. I know this is what Rich was talking about earlier. We had a new subscriber. Craft or likely this week? I'm going to start with Mark.
Kraft.
All right. Craft. Rich? Because he's ascending, right?
No, because likely sucks.
Rich?
Yeah, I'm going likely. More opportunity.
Right. 1-1. David?
Christian Watson back. Romeo Dobbs is back. I'm going likely.
Likely. 2-1. George?
So I'm going to go with Tucker Kraft here. But I do want to point out that Isaiah Likely, while he's been very inconsistent, and it's mostly from a couple of big games, mostly week one at that, but he is currently the tight end 5 on the season.
Okay, so are we 2-2?
Yes.
God, that's like, how bad is tight end?
I mean, the top 5 tight ends are George Kittle, Brock Bowers, Tucker Kraft, Dallas Goedert, Isaiah Likely.
I've got Kraft
Kittle
ahead
has
of
that
likely.
Thursday game though. Kittle has one more game. All those
Kittle's
guys
missed
now,
the
he
week,
had a big
right?
game on Thursday.
Yep.
So I have Kraft ahead of likely, but that was before Watson and Dobbs were back. I'm still going to go with my rankings and say Kraft here. to break the tie. Also want to mention Rashad White is officially out for the game. Fire up your Bucky Irving.
I will say if Bowers, Tucker, Goddard, or Likely, and I'll even throw Cole Clement, who's got a 2-touchdown game going, so it's possible for him. If they put up a 30-point game, they will surpass George Kittle. That's how far ahead right now on the season George Kittle is compared to everybody else. In PPR, whole point PPR leagues, Kittle's sitting on 86.3 points for the year. The next closest is Brock Bowers with 66.5. So there's nearly a 20-point difference between the number 1 and the number 2 tight end on the season so far.
All right. Full PPR, choose one. Trey Tucker, Shaheed, or Lad McConkey. I'm going to start with the Raiders fan.
Yeah, fire up Trey Tucker. I know my man to the left over here is kind of rode him in certain situations, but now with Jacoby Myers being ruled out, ain't many options. Brock Bowers should have a huge game, but Trey Tucker should get some good shots. There is a receiver that's slipping the name right now, that is going to be playing today due to the situations they're in. He is a flex option. Follow back up me. I'll give you a name on that one.
All right, Mark.
Yeah, I like Trey Tucker. Like George was talking about earlier, it's going to be a lot harder to count on Shaheed with Rattler in there at quarterback, and McConkey that offense is just not that pass happy for me to go there.
David.
I'm going to go with Shaheed. I know that we're worried about him with getting the big play today, but as you mentioned earlier, he has had a lot of targets. I don't like the matchups for Tucker or McConkey.
Okay, so George.
I'm in agreement with David here. I'm going Shaheed. Shaheed's got the 29th team against the pass in the Bucks. Lad McConkey is my 36th ranked wide receiver. He's got at Denver, where they're the number 1 pass defense. And then I kept scrolling, and I finally found Trey Tucker at 43. And they're going against Pittsburgh, who is the number 8 defense against the pass. And I'm going to go Shaheed. I've got him at 31. So 31 versus 36 versus 43. Give me the guy I got ranked higher.
All right. Just verifying. That's 2, or is that 3 for Shaheed?
It's 2-1-1.
Okay. Sorry, I was trying to look at news while we were answering to make sure. So 2 for Shaheed there. Let's see.
DJ Moore's headed to the injury tent. Just so you guys know.
That's the news. That was the news that came in, and I wasn't going to mention it because if you played him, it's too late to do anything about it. So
yeah,
Nate,
he's on my Franklin team.
Nate says Eckler, Connor, Higgins, James Cook, Smith for the Eagles, McBride. Pick 4, 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex.
Okay.
There's 6 guys here, so we got to not play 2 of them, but 2 have to be a running back. George, go first.
So I'm starting Eckler, especially without Brian Robinson. I'm starting James Conner because I'm never going to sit James Conner. The workload that he gets, as long as he stays healthy during the game, he's getting the full workload there in Arizona. I absolutely love that. I'm going to play Devonta Smith. Those are the 3 for sure that I'm starting. And then I think I'm going to go T. Higgins. I wish I was certain about James Cook, because I would definitely go Cook over Higgins, but I'm not confident in that, and I don't want to. I believe they play Monday. Yeah, they play Monday night, so I don't want to have to rely on James Cook Monday night, coming off the injury. Worried about the injury concerns. Last thing I want to do is have them rule him out Monday, and then I'm stuck. So for that reason, I'll go with Higgins. So for me, it's Eckler, Connor, Higgins, and Smith.
A nod from Dave, a thumbs up from Thumper. Mark, do you have something different?
Who did he go again? Sorry, I was trying to look something up.
Eckler, Connor, Higgins, and Smith.
Yeah. That's probably where I'm going just because I'm worried about James Cook. I mean, love to have him in there over Eckler,
Yeah,
but
I would. Well, Eckler's getting the full work. He's going to be the starter this week because Brian Robinson's out. So I want Eckler in there with no Brian Robinson.
Okay, hands up, David.
Keenan Allen again.
Keenan Allen again, second touchdown. That's 2 touchdowns for Allen, 2 for Komet, 4 passing touchdowns for Caleb Williams.
Ronald, we told you, man, at the beginning of the show, we were all on board with Keenan Allen. We said you cannot sit the man. He is an absolute beast, borderline Hall of Fame wide receiver. You've got to start him. We're just glad that you did and you listened to us, and we nailed that call.
Can we say that Caleb Williams is ascending?
Let's not talk about Caleb Williams. I had 2 lineups today that I was waiting till because I was going to ask on the show, and I thought that I had left my quarterbacks in. Apparently, I had not. So I didn't have a choice because I looked at him exactly at 9:30. Caleb Williams is on my bench in both those leagues now. So I'm hoping for big games for Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff because that's who I had in over him. Forced over him because I kept him on the bench.
All right, so we landed on 3 of, I think everybody ended up with the same Eckler, Connor, Higgins, and Devonta Smith. So that one has been answered. McBride or Bowers? That's a great problem to have. Rich, I know you're going Bowers.
Yeah, come on now. Is that even why we didn't even ask that question? I mean, I got McBride too in multiple leagues and everything. So, I mean, it is a great problem to have. Just the sheer targets that he'll receive. I feel like you have to go Bowers, especially in this game.
All right, David, agree?
So I do and I don't. I like Bowers on the season so far. And I like what we've seen from him, obviously. And tight ends have had success against the Steelers a lot, not just this year, but several years in a row. However, we don't know what his connection is with Aiden O'Connell. We have no idea because we haven't seen it in a game yet. So I lean McBride slightly, but this is a fantastic problem to have.
All right, 1 for Bowers, 1 for McBride. Mark.
Bowers for me.
And George.
Oh, Brock Bowers, easy. Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention to the show, but I just looked up McBride or Bowers. Give me Bowers. He's been an amazing tight end so far this year.
Here's the thing you got to look at, guys. He is not going to be lined up in a tight end position much today. He's going to be spread out, and they're going to move him around all over. So he's going to have plenty of opportunity. Like I said, I'd be right in Bowers. So just throwing that out there. Like I said, he's a tight end, but he's playing receiver today. If you want me to be honest, you're probably number 1 there. So,
all right. So Bowers over McBride. Nate says, "Do I put in Hubbard over Devonta Smith, Diggs, or James Conner?" Hubbard's been playing pretty dang great as of late. We got Thumper putting his hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, I think Devonta Smith is the only one that I'm putting Hubbard over. I wouldn't obviously James Conner and Diggs, there are plenty of opportunity, but Hubbard is, like I said, he's been handling it pretty well in that offense and everything, and Devonta Smith is coming back and everything. So in that situation, I know majority of us, not all of us, but usually go running back in those kind of situations, but I'll let you guys one off on that.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not putting him in over any of them.
Okay. Not doing it. Mark?
I'm sticking with those 3 over Hubbard.
And George?
Yeah, give me James Conner. I understand Nate probably doesn't want to watch James Conner.
No, hold on, George. Read the question.
Oh, okay. Never mind. No, I'm keeping Hubbard on the bench. He has been playing great. But I was going to say I would start Conner over Hubbard. I know Nate doesn't want to watch Connor have a good game against his Packers, but that's probably going to happen.
All right.
I got a
question. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
No, go ahead. Go with that.
Okay.
I have a text message question that I can throw whenever we have an extra second.
We will do that after this one. Tyrone Tracy, Madison, or Uncle Rico. I'm assuming he means Rico Daddle. Anybody not playing Tyrone Tracy? We're all playing Tracy here? Okay.
I think so.
All right, and George had to go to the restroom. He'll be back after he poops. Go ahead with your text message question.
So good problem to have, but my buddy texted me wanting to know, should he start Jalen Hurts or Jordan Love this week?
Eek. I think I'm going to say Hurts with his weapons back. David?
I'm not. I'm going to go Jordan Love.
Yeah, same here.
Hurts hasn't impressed me even in the games where he had his weapons this year yet.
He's had one game with weapons.
Well, yeah, maybe. Depending on what you consider weapons. He's had Barkley every game. He's had Goddard every game. You know, he didn't have A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith, but I'm still going to go with Love. Love's had people in and out all year, and I mean, other than the few interceptions that he threw, you know, coming back off of injury, he's been great every game.
God,
Mark,
it's horrible. I told him I would go Love just because, as bad as Cleveland has been, the one decent thing they have is a defense, so it scares me a little with Hurts. But
all right, well that's three. That's three for Love and one for Hurts. Andrew Miller says pick 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. Pickens, Jamison Williams, Deontay Johnson, Tyrone Tracy. So we need 3 of these. David.
I already know what you're thinking.
I want to say to sit Deontay, but I think I have to say sit George Pickens. He has not impressed me yet, and I'm the Steelers fan. I want to put in Pickens. I want to say he's going to, get there, but he just hasn't. And J-Mo has, Deontay has, Tyrone Tracy has a lot of opportunity. I think I'm sitting George Pickens.
Rich, you agree down there underneath the question?
Yes, I agree.
And then Mark, you agreeing too?
Yeah, I'm sitting Pickens for a week until Russell Wilson's the new quarterback.
I'm going to sit Pickens until he learns how to not quit.
Well, I mean, I
think about what you've done, young man.
The quarterback couldn't get him the ball.
Think about what you've done, young man. Krana says, made the right call on Keenan Allen. Andrews for Otten or Ertz, or keep Andrews. Flex 2 PPR. Oh, yeah, okay. So we'll start here. Andrews
DJ
or
Moore
Otten?
was fine. He just scored a touchdown.
Freaking Jacksonville. Andrews or Otten, David? Or Ertz? I think Ertz, right? Oh, sorry. I'm reading this better now. I think he's saying drop Andrews for Otten or Ertz, or keep Andrews. David?
Man, I think I'd drop him for Ertz. Who just got that touchdown?
DJ Moore.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Well, there's our cuss for the week.
Nope, he's down. Down on the half-yard line.
Why do you do this to me?
Mark?
God. How has Otten been lately? You've watched more of the Bucs games than I have.
No touchdowns, but he's getting more involved. I'll get his receptions here lately, but targets and receptions are up over the last several weeks.
I thought for a while there he was getting good. Yeah. 8 targets, 9 targets, 4 targets the last 3 weeks. I'm dropping him for Otten.
All right, 1 for Otten, 1 for Ertz. Rich, break the tie.
Nope, I'm keeping Ertz and Andrews.
Well, so I think he has to drop Andrews for one of those
two.
I thought this was based off a question earlier.
I don't know if
had
it is.
with them, so he was picking up Otten for Ertz and Andrews. And I might be reading this wrong based off a question we had earlier. And
I think he was dropping Andrews for Ertz earlier too, maybe.
Yeah. It says drop Andrews for Otten or Ertz or keep Andrews.
I'd rather have Ertz. If I'm dropping, if you're to the point where you feel like you have to drop Andrews, I'm having Ertz.
All right, 2 for Ertz, and 1 for Otten. Flex 2 and a PPR. Mooney, Wandale Robinson, Jamison Williams.
Mooney and JMO.
Mm-hmm.
And that's David agreeing. Mark, you agree there?
Mooney and JMO, yeah.
Yep. All right. Tolbert. Now who got the touchdown?
Swift, the guy that Justin has instead of the guy I have.
God damn it.
I'm going to ask this question, and then I'm going to go look at how Swift's done for the day. Tolbert, Moss, or Chase Brown in flex? I know 2 people here are going to say Chase Brown.
Let's go.
Rich.
Just because Tolbert Moss.
I think it's just 1.
Oh, Tolbert.
Okay.
Really? You were going to take both of them over Chase Brown?
All right.
Goddamn thumper.
So 2 for Chase Brown. Murray or Daniels? Is anybody not saying Daniels here?
No.
Can anybody bench Daniels at this point?
No.
I'm not benching him, no.
No.
I mean, look, I loved Kyler coming into the season. I don't hate this matchup, but the way Daniels has been playing, it's tough to sit him. And then Krana says meant to say drop Andrews, so we got there. Christian Watson changed my previous. Does Christian Watson change my previous question? It was pick 2 wide receiver in a flex.
No,
not for us. Okay, well we'll get into it. Pick 2 for the flex: Sutton, Dubs, Bateman, Christian Watson. God. We're all staring at it. David.
This is gross. I think. Ew.
Ew.
I think I'm gonna go with Dubs and Christian Watson. I think I'm gonna go with this.
You need to take both. You're gonna hope it's not Wicks or Reed this week.
I don't care if it is Wicks and Reed. I think that they still have a better chance of Bateman, who hasn't shown up at all, or Sutton against the Chargers defense.
I mean, I just don't know if Dubs even is going to get a snap on the field. He could be on the sideline the whole game.
Let's hope not. I have a lot of him too.
Rich, go ahead.
Don't start him.
I had to.
All right, so I am going Sutton, and here's my soothsayer coming out. Bateman scores a TD this week.
All right, so Sutton and Bateman. Mark.
I'm going Watson and Sutton. But yeah, this looks like some of the choices I have at running back in a couple of leagues.
All right, so the final answer here is then Watson and Sutton both getting 2. All right, Minnie Jordan, Jaden Daniels, or Josh Allen?
I'm going Jaden Daniels.
I'm going I'd go Jaden Daniels too. So hopefully, you know what? Don't listen to me until these guys answer. Rich.
Man, this is a good one. This is good. I'm going Josh Allen because if James Cooks is out, Allen is getting all those rushing TDs. And he's going to have to throw more and stuff like that. So, and like I said, that's if Cooks is out. So, dude, that tough one to have, but I'm going Allen. I'm sticking to it.
All right, that's one Allen.
I'm with Rich. I can't bench Allen. Daniels has been.
Just say the same thing about Daniels,
huh?
Didn't we just say the same thing about Daniels?
I mean, against Murray, sure, not for Josh Allen.
against the Jets, a division game on the road. I'm taking
Yeah,
Jordan.
they're gonna have to score.
With Shakir
Jets are gonna
injured,
come out and score, and Josh Allen's gonna have
Wait,
to do the
has-
majority of it on.
have the Jets come out and scored anywhere this year?
I mean, have you seen Buffalo's defense lately?
It's fair. So it's 2-1. I'll wait. I'll give George a minute. Because I would make it 2-2 if I was involved. So I'd give George the chance to break the tie. We've got a couple minutes. We don't have another question.
But honestly, trade a quarterback. Trade one of these guys.
Absolutely.
Let's see. I'm looking up Jets schedule. Here we go. Who have they played? So they put up a bunch on the Patriots, I guess. They put up 24 on the Titans with a halfway decent defense. I don't know, man.
George,
Jason wants
you to tie it up here.
George, break the tie, bud. It's 2-2 right now.
Always Jaden Daniels. Always Jaden Daniels. Listen, we all know Josh Allen left the game he went to the sideline and got cured an ankle injury with smelling salts, which, by the way, I believe is the first time in the history of modern medicine smelling salts cures an ankle injury. So I'm just concerned that another ankle injury might be more susceptible because it wasn't properly treated, and it may have it may linger, and he might not be completely healthy. And so I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels, who has the better matchup. It's a division game. The Jets are fourth against opposing quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels has got Baltimore. They're 26th against opposing quarterbacks. I want Jaden Daniels. I got him right there too.
I do have to say, to be fair, being that it's the AFC East, pretty sure smelling salts were used a year or two ago.
No, they did not use. Nope, they did not. Nope, there was no smelling salts involved with Tua's back injury, but there was definite smelling salts handed on the sideline. There's video evidence of smelling salts being handed to Josh Allen for a ankle injury. I'm just saying.
Back injury.
We didn't use smelling salts. Like I said, first time modern medicine has ever been used smelling salts to cure an ankle injury.
All right, that's the last question we have for this week, and we are finishing right up on time at noon. So I want to thank everybody who watched us and asked us questions. Hopefully we helped you this week. I know we helped Krana with the Keenan Allen stuff, so you're welcome. And then I want to thank Thumper. I don't know what you got the thumbs up, so like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. That's what Rich was trying to give me there. Also, patreon.com/toilets titles. You can catch us everywhere. Toilets Titles on Twitter, toiletstitles.com. You can catch us on our Tuesday night main show. You can catch us on our Friday night show. These guys are fragile. And then, of course, right back here, 10 a.m. every Sunday to help you make your start-sit decisions. And then you get interesting rabbit stories. You always get to see David's babies. We got a lot going on. I don't want to see it, Rich. No, thank you. So patreon.com/toilets titles as well. Obviously, we've got a tier for every salary. And David, one more time with Genesis card breaks. I know Mark's looking to get that Puka Nakua off the top rope. But what else you doing over on the card breaks?
I mean, really, that's it now. We were doing squares. It didn't pick up enough, but we are still doing the card breaks, ripping all sorts of fun stuff. 2024 product has started coming out. Unfortunately, they don't have Caleb Williams autos or Marvin Harrison, but all the rest of the guys just about are in there.
And then Dustin says, thank you for all your advice again this week. Best of week to everybody. George, you've got something on your face.
I do? That's his glorious beard. Oh, thank you, Dustin. I appreciate that.
And we got
Dave
one
Davis
more that
just
says
dropped another touchdown.
who Caleb Williams to who?
No, Gabe Davis just dropped another
Oh.
one.
Oh, okay, good. Good.
I also
Give
want to
Brian
point
Thomas.
out that it looks like maybe ETN and Bigsby have both been benched.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So
ETN's got a hamstring injury.
Okay.
All right, guys. We will catch you here again next week. Thank you for watching.